The Fourth and Goal Podcast.
That's all it is. But there's a lot of airspace to cover for Milroe. Still looking. Firing. Near corner. It's caught! Touchdown, Alabama!
Strebler dials it up. End zone! Touchdown!
They're going to snap it, and it's Trey Burton who throws caught. Foles! Touchdown!
There ain't no podcast like the Fourth and Goal Podcast. Like, hit that subscribe button and share.
Welcome to the Fourth and Goal Podcast. I'm here with my compadres, both to the left of me, Andrew and Noah Drury. This is your weekly football recap show where we recap the NFL, college football, and talk a little smack. Welcome to the episode about 6 or 7, boys, huh?
It's getting up. I think it's 7 last time I looked. So we're getting up there, man.
Yeah, I think you're right. I lose track of count because I post every episode like 15 to 20 TikToks and Instagram. So I'm like, we're on episode 50, 60 at this point.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. I mean, especially with the TikTok traction, which we appreciate everybody following and subscribing to our TikTok at the moment.
Yeah, and if you're not and you're watching on YouTube, you see the @ right there. But for those listening on audio, it's Fourth and Goal Pod. No uppercases, nothing. Yep. Just straight Fourth and Goal Pod. So make sure you go check out our social medias because Andrew does a really good job and is currently getting a lot of hate on the internet right now.
And he put his face right out there.
Yeah,
so, he's like a marked man.
I mean, we have our clips and stuff, but like, and they're going to be able to single Andrew out.
I'm okay with that. I don't.
Which
people can hate me. I'm fine with that.
Dude, you got to really thicken that mustache up for those green screens, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, I thought the mustache was.
You gotta get some. You gotta get like handlebars or something. Just making your whole personality.
Oh, I might.
Good on you, Andrew.
Now that you say that.
Hey, any publicity is good publicity.
Well, unless you're Diddy right now, then maybe not.
Yeah, we're not talking. Oh, you mean petroleum dynamite?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not in a good place right now.
No.
$50 million bond is crazy.
But let's get into this real quick now. We always recap college football first. Basically, we're going to give a rundown.
Because the first is the best, and college football is the best football.
Exactly. So we'll give a rundown of the games that we talked about, maybe throw a couple little things in there. First game is Stanford and Syracuse. Obviously, Stanford pulls off what we believe to be an upset, 26-24. Pretty close game, sloppy, a lot of turnovers. I brought this game into the fold because I thought that Syracuse would be in the top 25 rankings at the end of this week. As we've been proved once again, college football is crazy and has a mind of its own, and what the unpredictable will happen. And that kind of happened here.
Yeah, I go back and watch this game. I'll give credit to Stanford. They got off blocks really well in this game and were able to come up with a lot of TFLs on screen passes, sacks. Syracuse couldn't run the ball at all. They averaged, I believe it was less than 2 yards. Yeah, 1.5 yards per carry. And their longest run was a 19-yard scramble by Kyle McCord to get a touchdown. So Stanford does a really good job. There's one interception. I think if you go back to it's in the third quarter, I'm pretty sure. Kyle McCord's tight end runs about like a 15-yard curl, and there's a clear mistiming right there, and it ends up being a Stanford pick six because it's just a lack of communication and timing between the quarterback and receiver. I don't think Stanford played well. I think they just capitalized on opportunities when it mattered, and that's why they were a 2-point victor in a game that Syracuse, they didn't play bad, but I don't think they didn't play their best game for sure. This is probably their worst game played this season.
Yeah, 100. I mean, the pass game is what we expected from week to week. And like you said, the run game just never got going, and you can't really Stanford really just made Syracuse one-dimensional, which I think was the biggest. I mean, that's if you take away half of the play sheet, it's pretty damn hard to win.
Yeah, and I mean they're winning. They're getting pressure with 3 guys, 4 guys. Exactly. It's not like they're sending 5 or 6. I mean, they did at some points, and they had some crazy pass rush schemes. Like there's a lot of twists and just like the defensive end and the defensive tackle or linebacker. Like they did a really good job scheming up blitzes and pressure in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and both teams were kind of careless with the ball. Obviously, Stanford made one or two bigger plays to kind of cap it off. Kind of a surprise here. We kind of thought Syracuse was going to be a dark horse there in the ACC, but the Cardinal gets the win. And
they're a good team, man. It just depends on how Ashton Daniels wants to play because he's very comparable to Jalen Milroe. If you actually watch him play, like he's a guy that sits back there, but he has a ton of athleticism where he can take off and run. He can make the big throw, but he had a couple, like there was a wheel route that his receiver runs, and it was just like way late and way too high. Like it was just like, he has some of those plays where you're just like, kind of like Childs, which we'll get.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Watching the game though, you kind of see Stanford's transformed. It's not the old David Shaw Stanford lineup, and
like this team plays hard, which is like physical, which is not typical for Stanford in the past decade or so.
Yeah. All right, so we'll move along. We kind of talked about Illinois and Nebraska, ranked Big Ten matchup, and this game kind of lived up to the billing. I thought in the first half, going back and watching, Altmaier did a pretty good job asserting himself in the game. I think he played with Raiola. Raiola made some freshman mistakes down the stretch.
He still played a good, like overall though. He still played a pretty good.
Yeah, it was. He's another one of those guys, kind of a common theme that we're going to talk about tonight that's going to end up being really good when it's all said and done.
I think the area to give credit to, and I'll keep this short so I give you some time to speak on this, Andrew, but you got to give credit to the Illinois receiving room. They did a good job of going to the portal and getting guys like Sakari Franklin, and then Pat Bryant. He's been their number one guy so far this season, and Altmaier, I don't think he's a good quarterback by any means. I mean, he was kind of sitting at the bench at Ole Miss and then transferred to Illinois. He got benched last year for John Paddock. And then this year he's kind of coming into his own. And I think they're just having the right guys around him. And this is so important for quarterbacks. Just having the right personnel and scheme for you can just go a long way if you're not like a top end quarterback. And like Altmaier, he's probably like proven himself to be like a top half, maybe like top 6 quarterback in the Big Ten.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think this game, it didn't go this. I mean, it does not go the same way. There wasn't 700 yards in passing like Syracuse, Stanford.
Right.
But the biggest thing for me again was just how Illinois was able to just shut down Nebraska's run game. And I broke it down last week just saying how Nebraska, if they can run the ball and beat Illinois way down, they're going to win. That was a key to victory this week. And carrying a good Nebraska run game to 1.5 yards a carry. And I mean, Bielema goes to 12-4 against on the road against Big Ten opponents.
I mean,
Illinois, so it's just Bielema's thing at this point. He just goes and beats.
This is just a really well coached football team. Like I don't think they have as stand out necessarily at any position, but like it's a bunch of pretty good football players that are coached by a really good coach and assistants. So
agreed.
Yeah, I think kind of just reiterate what you guys said a little bit. I mean, under Bielema, Illinois has kind of been a staple for playing good defense in the Big Ten. I mean, you look at guys like Newton and, even Kirby Joseph and some
Devon
of the
Witherspoon.
Yeah, I mean, Witherspoon, they've produced a lot of guys, and they're definitely Brett Bielema, I feel like, has Illinois in as good of a spot as they've been since probably the Ron Zook era when they had Juice Williams and they went to the Rose Bowl.
I don't have any recollection.
That's the good thing about this show, I give a little bit of the old school flavor.
Cue the meme I put in the group chat the other day of the old man yelling out the window at clouds.
Pretty much. I mean, back when football was a little bit different, when I used to sit on the couch and watch every single game every second.
It used to be a lot more boring back then.
I was gonna say, was that when they slid the little floppy, the clear thing over the screen to show the score?
Yeah, right.
And they were actually writing on the projection.
Yeah, guys, I ain't 50 now. Okay. But speaking of, we're gonna move on to a team that Noah loves. He's kind of dick riding a little bit right now. NC State and Clemson.
What do you mean? I thought you were going a different team, but
I did too.
I mean, there's so many teams that you're dick riding right now
man.
that it's like basically like pick a name. You know what I mean? But
no, I will.
He's got different teams and different area codes, man.
hey, dude, it's all about who's doing what that quarter when he's got his split screen on and he's all intense. You know what I mean?
Hey, I have like 5 different games on at once, so.
But
I'm watching a lot of football on Saturdays.
I did the same this weekend, but I feel like Cade Klubnik he's kind of showing up to the party a little bit. Obviously, they got hammered by Georgia, but and their defense. I'll say one thing about Clemson: their defense has been a little shaky since Venables left for Oklahoma. I think he was kind of the guy that stirred
NC
that
State
drink.
scores some really garbage time touchdowns in this game.
I mean, but you still gave up 35 points. You know what I mean?
I mean, NC State's obviously like Dave Doran's obviously trying at the end of this game to like not make it look as bad as it was. But if you watch this game, like Clemson dominated without a doubt. I mean, it was 45-7 at halftime. Like they played 3 different quarterbacks. Like they don't care.
Off.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, obviously, like you want to see your depth, not give up that. Like it's a question of concern and your testament to your depth. But also, NC State's still really trying. So
I mean, Clemson's already a kind of young team. So the fact to the depth just shows they're playing true freshmen or walk.
I mean, they're starting some true freshmen,
right? So like the guys playing are the low of the low, probably just because they're young. I mean, it's Clemson. They're not the low of the low, but
like all the guys that committed to Clemson that weren't allowed to take an official visit.
Right.
Yeah.
And Dabo Swinney refuses to do NIL.
God, he needs to get his head out of his ass.
I don't know. I think
gonna die.
But Clemson really hasn't been like a contender, so I feel like he's not gonna get fired unless they don't make a bowl. Like being completely honest, like he's done too much for that program to.
The program is going to die.
As weak as the ACC is, I mean, they could honestly at this point be legitimate playoff contenders as long as they.
I think they're a good, not great, a good football team. But this is a team that's like this team's going to look completely different from now until like week 12, week 13. Like there's just so much they have to work in, and playing Georgia week 1 did not help Clemson.
No.
So. But there's just so much young pieces like Antonio Williams, Bryant Westco. Like there's so much young guys that haven't had any college experience that, you're going to struggle early in the season. And the depth hasn't played at all either throughout their college career. And they're all young guys. Like NC State, when you look at the roster, like there's a lot of 4th and 5th year guys and guys that have been there. So like, yeah, it kind of makes sense why they'd come back against 1st-year players, but I don't think it matters. I'm still not impressed with Klubnik. I think it's just like, he's going to be like, there's so much talent around him where, he did break off that big touchdown.
I mean, 300 plus yards and 3 tutties isn't good enough for you.
But I don't think NC State's good at all. At the same time.
But no, NC State blows.
Like I saw who they played. They played North.
That's fair, but I mean, at the end of the day, he performed really well in that game.
Yeah, and I'm not.
They're going to lose next week.
NC State's going to probably. I don't know. Northern Illinois just lost to Buffalo, so
yeah,
we'll see. But like we'll see against Stanford because I actually think Stanford like defensively has a pulse and like is actually willing to compete. I think NC State's kind of just they're done. I'm not watching another NC State game this season.
So not a chance. I still don't believe I spent time and watched NC State Western Carolina. That was such a waste of time.
NC State is like the prime example of why a preseason poll doesn't mean anything.
No, it doesn't. And you'll see later in the 4th and goal poll that we don't care about preseason rankings.
No, we don't.
No.
But I think Clemson's like a good top 15. I think like top 10's their ceiling, but you don't have the quarterback, and I also don't think their offensive line's particularly that well either. So
yeah. Well, they do have Phil Maffa, who's pretty good, I would say.
No, Phil Maffa is a great running back.
Mm-hmm.
But we're spending too much time on this game.
Clemson doesn't deserve 5 minutes.
Let's talk about, we just talked about one of your side pieces, and we'll move on to your main side piece, and that's Louisville. This game
is Vandy.
Yeah, that's
Vandy's
true right now.
Vandy, I know they lost, but they played a pretty solid game against Missouri.
This Louisville game pissed me off for one reason, because it cost me it screwed me out of like $400 because
why would I tell? Did I tell it? Yeah.
I took Georgia Tech to cover, but then Louisville had that late special teams blunder touchdown.
They also I'm pretty sure they had a scoop and score as well. Louisville did not. They played really sloppy in this game. They did not play a complete football game.
Haynes King just lived up to the billing, everything that you said about him. He couldn't finish drives. They were moving the ball.
It's like we watch football or something. It's crazy.
I know.
That's
the guy on TikTok.
No, but yeah, you should stick to tennis, Andrew.
Yeah, I should.
It was just Georgia Tech. Louisville couldn't really run the ball either, but Georgia Tech struggled to run the ball a lot. And when it came down to red zone, they weren't able to just punch in a lot, and they had to settle. And then they end up trying to settle for a field goal, and it goes completely the wrong way. I think Louisville won in special teams, and they just hit the plays that they needed to. They did not play a good game by any means, but Tyler Shuck actually looks like he's a pretty damn good quarterback, and they're still without Cullen Lacey too, who's going to be a dynamic slot receiver for them. So, but you have Chris Bell and Ja'Cory Brooks, which I think Alabama could use Ja'Cory Brooks. Probably.
Yeah.
He would play. But yeah, I think this Louisville team's just honestly, they played really sloppy against a solid Georgia Tech team and still were able to win by 2 possessions. So
I think at this point we can admit that we are a Louisville podcast.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, I'll be wearing his hoodie soon.
Yeah, I thought about wearing it today. I'll wait till they beat Notre Dame.
I've always we're a Jeff Brom supporting Louisville podcast.
Jeff Brom is
Brom though.
Brom's a really good. He's not great at recruiting or anything, but in terms of scheme and game day, Jeff Brom's one of the best coaches in the country.
I've liked Brom, since he went into Ohio State and won 2018.
And Purdue, you can see Purdue clearly misses it because
big time.
Ryan Walters might not be the head coach after the season.
They blow.
No.
God.
Well, Ryan Walters, a guy I don't like for other reasons, but he kind of started all the Signgate stuff last year. He was kind of in the middle of that, but good riddance to him because his team sucks.
He's a really good defensive coordinator if you go back and look at his Illinois track record, but yeah, he's not. It's hard to coach. You need to be really different if you're going to coach at a school like Purdue. Mm-hmm. You can't be we're going to run a normal scheme offensively and defensively. You need to go air raid. You need to go triple option. You need to there needs to be something different about you where it makes it really hard to game plan for your team. And that's kind of what Brom did because
Purdue's never going to get the recruits because they're the third team football wise in that state.
They're
dude. It hasn't been like that for a long time. Indiana's
Kurt
been trash.
Cignetti is gonna fucking roll,
and they actually.
Hold on 1 second, real quick. For all the
good.
shit that we give Noah for Vanderbilt, Clemson, and Louisville, we need to start getting on your ass about Indiana because, dude, you're really on this thing.
Indiana's a good football. Indiana's
so much fun.
They also have
Cignetti's an animal.
Well, they also haven't really played anyone yet.
I don't know. When you go across the country and drop 50 on UCLA,
true. They played better than LSU did. But.
They pulled up to UCLA.
UCLA, really, bro?
And went, ugh.
Other than Northwestern, UCLA is probably the worst team in the Big Ten.
Dude, they were probably standing outside of the Rose Bowl giving tickets away, trying to get people to come in there. UCLA is a joke, dude.
My bet at UCLA minus 4.5 wins It's looking great right now.
Under or over?
Under.
Yeah.
All you had to do was watch the coach's press conference at Big Ten Media Days, and you already knew.
That's my bit, goddammit.
I mean, Deshaun Foster was put in such a tough spot.
He was, but do
He
better.
wasn't ready.
Yeah, no, UCLA.
You're in LA, do better.
Yeah.
UCLA here for the media.
I mean, if you're a
We don't care
recruit,
about
your
that.
NIL money doesn't matter mean that much in LA anyways.
That's very true. Oh my god, I didn't think about that.
Dude, so there's a common theme on this show, and it's kind of been trending the last couple of weeks. We like to make fun of people for their upset of the week picks. So moving into this next game, we kind of have that same theme here. I was actually going to cut the clips for it today, but I didn't have time. But so Michigan beat USC 27-24 in a super ugly game, by the way.
Yes.
Go ahead. What do you got to say? You look like you got something to say.
All you, Noah.
I say if they play this game again, I don't know if it goes to USC makes some mistakes early and then late in the game where I don't think it's as repeatable, but that's not the case. Michigan won a good football game and they deserve credit for it. And Justin deserves credit for his upset of the week. But I don't downgrade USC that much, to be honest. I still think
I'm going to let you guys tear into this, and then I'll get the last word here.
Yeah.
Go right ahead, yeah.
But yeah, go ahead, Andrew. And then
I was just gonna say, I think, for all intents and purposes, this was the Grant and Graham coming out game. Like, they've been good all season, but Moss had no time. He was just constantly under pressure. And when it comes from the inside of the pocket, that's kind of just terrifying. I mean, we saw Aaron Donald do it in the NFL for a decade, and there's two of them instead of just one. Yes. Michigan just went, Army, you look like you play a good scheme. We're going to do that. Only throw the ball 12 times and still put up 27 points is kind of impressive. But I agree with Noah. I don't think it's repeatable. The last-minute touchdown, I don't know. But we'll see. The rest of the season is going to be a long season for Michigan fans.
It's going to be a weird season. I don't know if it's going to be a long. I don't think like this, and this is what I've said all year. If you can block Michigan, you're going to win. Like and you have a competent defense, like no doubt. The games that I think are for sure losses, which Justin, I don't want to hear we beat them 3 years in a row because this is not the same team. This is not the same team that
it's going to be 2018 all over again.
Yeah, I like Ohio State I think Ohio State and Oregon are for sure losses. I think you could lose to Illinois, but other than that, you guys should win every game on your schedule.
Yeah.
Hey,
and
the Spartans roll in.
No, I don't think the Spartans. I don't think the Spartans can block we couldn't block against Boston College. We're definitely not going to block against them.
No, but I don't think Michigan can block the Spartans D line either. So
I don't know.
We'll see how that goes.
They actually did. No, Michigan did a pretty solid job of blocking USC.
Yeah, but MSU's D line's better than USC's.
Their D line is the linebackers.
You're making a lot of bold claims, Andrew.
I'm not making they're in the top 25 in the country.
Like, I know Michigan ran the ball pretty successfully, but like USC for the most part, their linebackers like Gentry and Cobb, they did a pretty good job of filling gaps in this game.
I mean, but like to be fair though, like that was against FAU and Prairie View to factor in. Like you got like taste of like real football, but we got that. I don't want to get too far into. I don't want to get.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
Game.
We'll talk about it later.
Let me give my assessment on the Michigan game because when I picked the upset, it wasn't like it kind of looks like a homer thing, right? But I just felt like Michigan was going to muddy the water, and they've kind of perfected this thing of winning ugly. Like even when JJ was the quarterback, who may be arguably the best quarterback at Michigan, he wasn't asked to do very much. You know what I mean? Like the foundation of this team has been running the ball, which I thought they did pretty good. Pass pro is a different story. And USC, and Miller Moss was running for his life. Josiah Stewart is slowly becoming a pretty good pass rusher.
He might like end up being a first round pick.
Yeah, and he had 2 sacks in this game. And looking at the first half to the second half, Michigan was blocking him pretty good. and USC couldn't do nothing on offense. I think Michigan's problem as we go on here, especially against offenses like Oregon and Ohio State that can pick you apart, they're kind of we're almost back in the Don Brown, almost maybe a little too aggressive, because there was a little bit of recklessness. Miller Moss had a couple touchdown passes in the second half. The guy was wide open, and the second, the guy just sat down in the zone in the end zone. They're going to be they're going to get picked apart against really good teams when they do that. Pressure's got to get home. When you got corner blitzes and there's kind of nobody there, it just goes to show that how good of a defensive coordinator Jesse Minter was, because he had mostly the same team last year. And
clearly not that good. You couldn't stop the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, but
yeah, who's that?
Justin Fields.
Oh yeah, well, the NFL is a different story.
Yeah, I know.
The Steelers are just
they're just
yeah.
solid.
I don't know how to read the Steelers this year.
But
we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Overall, though, if Michigan didn't have Kalel Mullings, they probably wouldn't have won this game. And not even. I think he's kind of showing that he's a pretty competent back. I was really surprised when he broke that long one on the game-winning drive. To break all those tackles and then pull away, maybe he has a little bit more speed than I thought.
But I also don't think USC has practiced tackling circuit since Lincoln Riley's got there. So
that's what I was trying to tell you guys. I'm like, you guys were kind of trying to give it to me like Michigan didn't have a chance, and I'm like, dude, USC was one of the worst defenses in the country last year.
Well, if this
3 years ago
was the USC team last year, Michigan would have had like 500 yards rushing.
But USC would have had probably 500 yards passing.
I disagree. Last year, that USC offense was super overrated.
Caleb looked bored last year. That was my biggest thing.
I don't know. Obviously Michigan has a good defense and whatnot, but it wasn't impressive. They probably shouldn't have won the game if we're being honest. And
we have all ugly football games left on this scheduled slate. Holy crap!
Yeah, we do. Big Ten football, baby.
Well, not even that.
It's not, but
Big Ten.
Just this one in general.
Yeah. We've claimed shitty-looking football games.
Yeah.
Big Ten's moniker.
Let's talk about Utah, Oklahoma State then, because another one. And then, Whittingham and Utah kind of gaslighted us with the Cam Rising thing. Once again,
I told you it was going to happen.
Isaac Wilson played okay at times, but
he showed flashes where he could actually be like good. But I think the true story is that Micah Bernard over Ollie Gordon every day.
I was going to say, what the hell is going on with Ollie Gordon right now?
I think that Oklahoma State offensive line is actually really bad. Not really bad, but there's something not right there. And Oklahoma State's one of those teams that where like they could just instantly turn it around. That's kind of just like a Gundy thing. But like going down 19-3. Like I know Oklahoma State almost came back, but they really never had a chance. Like I'm sorry, first of all, you benched Alan Bowman just to bring him back, but Alan Bowman was terrible in this game, and the backup was just like probably one of the worst. Like they probably would have played the same with Gundy's son, if you know what clip I'm talking about, or the shaking the hands against Kansas State when they were down that much. Oklahoma State's just a weird team, dude. Like they're going to be so different week to week. But yeah, Ollie Gordon's not been performing well. I also don't think Oklahoma State's a good football team.
No, my pick of Oklahoma State to win the Pac-12 is not looking good, or the Big 12 is not looking good at all.
Yeah, that's kind of a terrible pick.
I feel like you kind of had like a little recency bias with Ollie Gordon being like a cover guy, and like
I did, and you guys were like, "Oh, why are we all going with the same team?" So I went, "I'm gonna be different." Oklahoma State. A week later.
Oh, I did pick Utah to win the Big 12. So.
Oh, I bet Utah to win the Big 12, but
there's really not much to talk about here.
It's just it was a bad football game.
We can move on over to another game. Oklahoma.
I got a lot to talk about.
Oklahoma, Tennessee. I guess so. Me and Andrew will start this off, so you can empty the whole clip. So yeah, I mean, this game was pretty ugly. Jackson Arnold really didn't have a chance to do much. Nobody was really helping him. Pretty frustrating day for him. I thought when Michael Hawkins came in, they moved the ball, and that'll be interesting to see if Hawkins is the guy moving forward. One thing I will say, in what I've seen, Tennessee's defense looks kind of elite to me. I thought Oklahoma actually had a pretty solid defense as well. Nico did pretty good being a game manager. You've seen Brew McCoy kind of flash some big play. And I think Tennessee is going to be really, really tough moving forward, but I'll be interested to see. I'll definitely be following the next Oklahoma game to see if Hawkins is the starter because he showed some pretty good flash there in the second half.
Well, they do play Auburn, so I probably won't be watching that game because I'm not watching another Auburn game this year either.
Oh,
so.
Come on. You didn't get enough of Peyton Thorne at State?
Well, he did end up coming back and playing in that game because Hank Brown played so bad. So
yeah, Auburn's screwed. Either way, I'm gonna ditto a lot of what JP said. Oklahoma's. I mean, I've been kind of on the Oklahoma hate train all season. And I mean, they showed a lot more fight this week than I expected them to. Their defense showed a lot more fight, and this game ended way different than I expected it. I was expecting Tennessee to put something around 38-45, something like that, put up way more points. Didn't happen. But I agree. Tennessee's defense, I think that might be, outside of like Texas, maybe one of the better units in the country.
Tennessee, I think you'd put Michigan. I think Michigan. Get rid of the other teams. Michigan, Georgia, and Texas, and maybe Ohio State. Like I'd put up there in terms of best defenses. Maybe Penn State. Maybe Penn State too, but KJ Winston's out for the rest of the year or out for a significant amount of time. But
I hear you. But
like those are like A+ S tier defenses, but like Tennessee's, they could get there by the end of the year too. Like
I agree.
So,
but weapons free. Go ahead and unload.
So I don't think it's necessarily Arnold. No, he did not play a good game, right? I think that's pretty apparent. But he makes some plays in that game. Like there's one play where he escapes pressure. He tries to throw it to his receiver. First of all, he's under pressure. Second of all, his receiver's blanketed. He throws the best ball possible, and his receiver drops it. Like I'm pretty sure it was Nick Anderson, which he played for about a couple snaps and then left the game. So there's no depth on this receiving room. Their offensive line, they had both their starting tackles go out. Like Hawkins might be the guy moving forward because he probably gives you the best chance to win right now. Not that he's the most talented quarterback, but in terms of his ability to get outside and actually be able to run, Arnold's more of like an improviser. Like I'd compare him to Baker Mayfield, but Arnold cannot win in this system. At absolutely not. They don't have a ground game. Like they average 1.1 yards per carry. This Oklahoma team's just, and it sucks because they were kind of my SEC dark horse too, but you can't win games defensively in the SEC when you can't put up more than 20 points because you're at a lack of just everything on offense. So
maybe next year.
Yeah, maybe next year. In terms of the Tennessee side, I mean, the ability just to getting 11 tackles for loss is ridiculous. And I know this Oklahoma O-line's not good, but like this Tennessee defense is like pretty legit, which I did not expect coming into this season. I thought it was going to be, let's have Nico, let's have some fun, and we'll compete next year. No, they might actually be a national championship contender, like right now.
They certainly look like it.
Yeah, like they might. I won't say they're the best team in the SEC, but because Texas and Georgia are still pretty good, but like they're knocking on the door.
I almost put Tennessee.
Like this is what Ole Miss thought preseason. They thought this is what they thought their team was going to be. Now Ole Miss could be that team. They just haven't played anyone with the pulse yet. So
Ole Miss's offense, I think, is a little more high powered, but their defense doesn't stack up to what Tennessee's got.
See, I would kind of disagree. Tennessee's offense, I know they didn't play great in this game, but Oklahoma's probably a top 10 defense in the country.
I agree, but it's just
their run game's better than Ole Miss. I'd argue that their passing game, Nico, he's not as experienced as Dart, but like in terms of talent and being able deep playability, like.
Do they play each other this year? Probably.
Let's take a
Let me look.
No, they do
Damn,
not.
that's unfortunate.
We got that big weekend, I think October 19th, I want to say, where Georgia and Texas play, and then we have Bama and Tennessee.
Yep.
So that'll be fun.
I'm interested. They have a bye week. I'm interested to see how they play versus Arkansas because Arkansas is actually looking. I don't know what to make of Arkansas right now. They are confusing, but they're kind of fun to watch sometimes. They make a lot of mistakes, but they also make a lot of sick plays. So
Tennessee, I think, has 2 real games the rest of the way.
They all struggle against Kentucky. I
think so.
Offensive, like Kentucky's not going to do crap offensive. Like I think they'll still win by like 21 points, but it's going to be like an ugly 21-point win.
That's fair, yeah.
It is a rivalry at the end of the day.
Yeah. And Vanderbilt might give them a run for their money. We'll see.
But true, but they got Bama, Georgia, and
Vanderbilt does not have the dudes defensively to give Tennessee a run from their money.
We might look at the but then that might be it.
I might. We'll see how they play versus Arkansas because it's going to be like if they dominate Arkansas, yeah, this team's really good. Well, we'll see, actually. I don't know. I want to see how they play defensively because Petrino's done a really good job of scheming some stuff up for Arkansas.
So, Andrew, I got a question for you. Yeah. At any point Saturday night, like, did you think about, like, throwing your TV or –
Oh, I was driving for the second half. So there's a couple times when I did just debate.
Pulling off the road. Yeah.
Not pulling off the road, but you get what I mean. But my friend's in the car, so I could not do that.
Dude, honestly, like
when he threw that pick, I was I turned it off as soon as he threw that last pick.
I want to let you dive into this one, but let me say honestly, like this is a game that Boston College really had no business winning.
Nope.
No, they did. Boston College should not play.
It just came down to the fact that Aiden Childs is going to be a really good player.
Next.
And right now, he's a good player, but he's making a ton of mistakes. And I know that they were without Nick Marsh and stuff, but like some of those interceptions
we were without Nick Marsh, Alante Brown, Jared Glover, and Antonio Gates Jr. Like
they were out. They out 4 of the 5.
I was actually kind of impressed with the receiver depth on
Smith. Looked really good.
Yeah, there was a couple times where Childs missed felling, and I'm like, oh my god, really?
Oh, the one where he threw it to the linebacker.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was like a throw to the ground too, like
that. Yeah.
And
that
Boston College.
Justin, finish your thought, and then Noah and I'll shred this game to pieces in a minute.
I mean, I don't have too much to say.
Boston College also, you can say, like, kind of squandered some opportunities too, like that 4th down stance deep in MSU territory, and Castellanos missed a couple guys. Like he's a dynamic athlete, but not a very accurate passer.
They also did a pretty solid job of containing them too.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
Like, I mean, they got home to him 4 times. I think also if this game's not played in like the worst weather conditions possible, it's a little bit different. But I mean, Boston College is like a top 45 college football team, and I don't think Michigan State's really trying to knock on the door of being like, yes, I know they looked kind of impressive early in the year, blah, blah, blah. Michigan State's not really trying to compete for anything. Like a bowl game's a pretty good season for them. Their win total was at 4.5 this year. Like this should not be a great expectation of Michigan State should be good. It's year one under Smith. Childs had growing pains. He had moments where like that, especially that 20-yard scramble where he had a little Manziel moment right there. Like he was pretty good running the ball. Like he might be.
Andrew, you look like you want to rip into this game. Go for it.
Let me say one thing.
I think Childs. I'll take it.
You've said a lot of things, dude.
I think.
I do say one more. Let me say one more thing. Like, dude, you get your hand in this guy. Like, there's like one more bite left on the bone after he gets through. One more.
Oh no, there's more to talk about. Don't worry.
I think Childs might be as good as an athlete as Orji. Like in terms of running, like he he did a really good job. Like I did not expect that coming into this season.
It does help. Trials is a little bigger than Orgy.
Is he?
No.
He's 6'3", 220.
Orgy's like 6'1". Yeah.
Is he? Oh, never mind. He just looks a little bigger. Because he's got. I guess State's got short running backs. I guess that's.
I don't want to get like too far off topic with this, but like Alex Orgy's like an Anthony Richardson kind of athlete.
Yeah,
like not player, but
except
like
he can't throw the ball.
Completely different. Well, Anthony Richardson really couldn't throw the ball in college that well either.
No, but they let him throw the ball more than 12 times a game. Either way,
he also had receivers to throw too. Kinda.
This is true. Either way, I agree. Like the contain job that they did on Castellanos was pretty good. I was very impressed. You guys know I was terrified of Castellanos going into this game. And basically they said, Jordan Hall, that is your guy. Do not let him do anything and contain him all game. And I guess minus 2 or 3 runs. Hall, the linebackers and the edge contained him relatively well. I thought Brian Lindgren is the best OC State's had in 15 years.
Probably since Narduzzi.
Well, offensive coordinator.
Yeah, Narduzzi was the defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
He was an offensive coordinator.
Nope, he was the DC. But Lindgren is the way he schemes players open. Foster was open damn near every 4 or 5 plays, but Childs couldn't hit him. Lots of growing pains.
It was also like terrible weather too.
Oh, it was. But when there's not a player within 20 yards of you, and all 3 of us could make that pass because he had great protection. It's kind of frustrating when you see your redshirt senior receiver streaking down the field. You put it near him, he's probably catching the ball, and the man couldn't. I don't know. And I know it's growing pains. I know he's freshly 19. It's like throwing Noah out there.
No, it would be a
but it's just
I would get killed.
But I'm
also like I would be in terms of size just the worst.
Noah would look like Bootsy from The Longest Yard when they threw the kicker in there.
No, literally.
It's Spartan fans. It's gonna be a long season. A lot of frustrating mistakes. A lot of just.
As long as you know that.
Oh, I'm gonna talk a lot of shit, but also know that I hate my team more than you do.
I hate both Michigan teams this year. I hate all
I feel like you're kind of playing the stance, Andrew, of a popular media figure in Detroit, who I'm not going to name, but you're kind of playing that stance of like kind of like you're building them, you're tearing them down to build them up if they win, right? Like you're tempering your expectations. You're not going to expect too much.
I don't have. I really don't have like much expectations for Michigan State this year. I think I will say the Rossi hire is amazing. Our defense looks so much different, and we've always had the athletes. We just haven't had the scheme put in place. Like Brantley looks like he could be an NFL corner. Like
Brantley has been the biggest surprise of the season for me. I
won't say across the country, but in terms of like Michigan
on this
State,
team,
yeah,
it's been Brantley and it's been why am I forgetting his name? Georgia Tech DT transfer.
Yeah, I don't remember. Bogle?
Raekwon Dowse. Or something. Raekwon Dowse. Yeah.
The defensive line like actually looks good.
Dowse has just kind of been a wrecking ball. Like I think he has a.
All right, Justin doesn't want to hear about this.
This isn't MSU. This isn't.
I'm sorry.
This isn't Locked On Spartans.
Where's Matt Sheehan when you need him?
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyways, I love talking about my team even when they suck.
That's okay. We get it.
Yeah, it's gonna be basketball season soon anyway.
Yeah.
We're gonna suck too. Don't worry.
Let's give it a few weeks, and you'll be moving on to Michigan State basketball.
Will we? I don't know. Actually, I do think their team's gonna actually be like they're not ranked. They're not projected really high right now, but. I really like this roster.
This team goes as far as fears can take them.
Yeah.
Well, while we're here, I guess we can go really quick. We're going to be touching on college basketball moving forward. we're going to be covering that, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of talk with that and about our teams here, which I think
it'll probably
be okay.
We'll probably touch on like some national perspective, but I'm a Big Ten basketball advocate, which
I am as well.
So I think that'll probably be like our general focus. But
Yeah.
I mean, like, did you see Gonzaga's joining the Pac-12, by the way?
Yes.
Yeah.
Finally, they don't got to play in some rinky dink.
The WCC might be better than the Pac-12 at basketball.
Well, no, but they're gonna get. Yeah, that's true. And I guess now I can watch Gonzaga. That's what I'm more excited for.
They're typically on at like 11 o'clock on ESPN.
Yeah, but I work at 6 a.m. I'm not staying up to watch Gonzaga drop.
You know what? No, they're my fall asleep team during the year.
That's the Pac-12 for me until this year, I guess. But
let's talk about our upset picks of the week. Andrew,
I'm gonna leave now. Screw you guys, Coastal Carolina.
Right.
I mean, Calandria is just like a good player. Like he's improved a lot. Like last year, his like interception, like big play to interception ratio was crazy. They kind of hit a lot of explosive runs too.
Yeah.
I didn't catch much eyes on this game because it wasn't even available, but I saw a couple highlights. I want to talk about
on my radar.
Yeah. Nope. Rutgers, Virginia Tech, dude. Rutgers didn't run Mungai didn't run the ball amazing, but let's talk about the Greek rifle, Athian Kaliakmanis, dude. Because
Greek rifle.
Well, that's his nickname. And
I know.
This was kind of a bullshit upset of the week pick, by the way, because I felt like Rutgers should have been favored.
Yeah, but you know I mean,
he went for the low hanging fruit so he could keep his perfect status up, and he could tell everybody that he's.
I'm going bold. I'm going bold next week. I already know what game I'm picking.
Hey, join me down at the bottom over here. Water's nice.
I honestly don't think it's a Rutgers won this game. I think it's a Virginia Tech kind of sucks. Like they lost this game.
Yeah,
like,
they're not good.
No, they thought their passing game was going to be improved coming out of the off season, because like last year it was really hot at the end, and like Drones actually looked like he wasn't just a glorified, like a really shitty version of KJ Jefferson. But yeah, it's just not came into fruition for him. So you're gonna lose games. Can we also talk about that and with that NCAA type play where it's just like he like went to throw it away and he just threw it backwards into the stands? Did you guys see that?
No.
Oh, dude. Oh, you guys got to go watch that.
No, this is only you would have had Rutgers and Virginia Tech on your radar.
Hey, Rutgers is a good football team, man.
They are.
They're solid.
Like if you look at their schedule, their toughest two games. Well, they might lose versus Nebraska, but USC and Illinois are their two toughest Big Ten games, and they could out physical USC. So I think Illinois is probably a loss, but like there's a world where Rutgers gets 10 wins in a season.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew, you got any last words to say on your upset of the week pick? Or no?
No, I'm bad at this. Don't fade every opinion I have.
Yeah, whatever he says, just bet the opposite.
He's just the guy that you guys go on TikTok and argue with because he's out here now.
I'm the funny hot take guy.
His face literally had thousands of views today. Like he's making headway.
I'll take it.
I wanted to quickly note a couple other games. Like I won't spend too much. There's one big one that I think we should talk about, and that's that BYU Kansas State game. BYU just had like 10 minutes of just excellence, and then the rest was kind of just like a really bad football game. But dude, if you're Kansas State, you just cannot I know you're playing in Provo at night, and that place gets wicked for being like the most Christian university like in the country. But like that was kind of unacceptable in my opinion. Like you're Kansas State, you're supposed to be a good football program. Like you guys had a lot of preseason hype and like our Big 12 contenders, and you got flat out like just couldn't handle it at the end of the day. Like that's kind of BYU. They're an all right football team, but that was embarrassing.
Dude, it was literally and I had interest in this game for money reasons, but dude, it was literally like a flurry of like 10 minutes where literally there was nothing that could go Kansas State's way. Like BYU literally fumbled the punt and the guy ran back 10 yards to get it, picked it up at like his own 5-yard line and took it all the way to the house. Like the guy ran so far that he looked like he was going to die on the sideline. And that was the point right then and there where I knew that this game's over.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't watch that game. But
and then
go back and watch it, I think
the flurry of points came so quick that Avery Johnson and that offense just couldn't get into a rhythm. Like it was impossible. And Giddens was ripping off some nice runs. But I just don't. Kansas State is just not that team that's going to put up points in a hurry. You know what I mean? They have to be in their flow. And
because they rely on the run so much, so they're just not going to be able to throw.
And Johnson was kind of he was just telegraphing the ball. He was throwing it right into coverage.
He's not a great thrower.
No, he's not a good thrower at all.
But he's probably just as good as Will Howard. But
yeah,
not going to get into that. A couple more games. I watched a lot of football this weekend, guys. Missouri and Vanderbilt. Missouri's not in our 4th and goal poll, which we'll get into in a minute. But yeah, Missouri's, I don't even know if they're a top 25 team. Being honest, I think we'll kind of figure out who they are versus Texas A&M, but they can't play defense. Like their offense is solid. Nate Noel is a good running back. They have a great room of receivers. Brady Cook's okay. But like their defense is a big concern. And I don't know if you guys got any eyes on Missouri versus Vanderbilt. But
no.
They do not like Vanderbilt. I will say Vanderbilt's much improved from where they typically are. No, they're not SEC contenders, guys. We can stop making that joke.
Yeah.
But like generally Missouri's not good. LSU's not good either. You don't
kind of a down year for the pack of the SEC.
Yeah, LSU's not good. And then one more takeaway. James Madison, dude, that game was. I had to go back and watch that game. That game was crazy. Like just watching everything that happened, dude. North Carolina couldn't get pressure, and the corners were getting burned by like 10 yards, dude. It was great. It was just like watching 299 overall offenses play against like 60 overall defenses. It was great football. I feel like a lot of points.
Dude, they put up Arena League numbers in that game. I think James Madison had like 50 points in the first half.
Yeah. Oh, one more quick note. Miami looks pretty good. Their offense in the third quarter was unstoppable. Kane was catching like multiple contested catches. Damian Martinez looks like their running back that they needed. Xavier Restrepo is just one of those crafty guys out of the slot, like the next coming of Hunter Renfrow and Vlad McConkey. So
yeah, I agree.
Why we have them moved up.
Yeah,
I got two things if I can throw these in.
Yep, and then let's get to the 4th and goal poll and then talk about the shitty weekend that was the NFL.
Okay, I'm going to cut it to one thing. Kirk Ferentz won his 199th game.
Can we let's talk about Caleb Johnson, dude.
Okay, never mind.
Caleb.
Go ahead.
No, Caleb. I watched that game a little bit. I told you I watched a lot of football, dude. He literally. I heard a stat earlier. When teams stack the box against Caleb Johnson, like 8+, he averages 10.4 yards per carry.
Jesus Christ!
Like he is. Like, I know you talk about Mullings being a workhorse back, but like if Michigan had Caleb Johnson, their team would look so much different.
Yeah. Anyway, he's now only 6 games behind Woody Hayes for the all-time Big Ten head coach wins record.
That's pretty awesome, dude.
Which,
yeah.
By next year, he might be the all-time.
They might be there this year.
You won't see coaches moving forward that have been at one school as long as he's been at Iowa. So
like Whittingham, Gundy, Ferentz are probably like the last of the last of the loyal coaches.
Yeah.
I mean, you won't see a guy probably get to 100 wins in a long time.
Well, it's also not that.
No.
There's also just such a demand to succeed in college football where, like, I think PJ Fleck could be at Minnesota for a while, but something tells me that he's not going to be there at the end of the year.
Really?
Yeah, I think they do not look good.
Let's take a look at this 4th and goal poll before we completely veer off the road.
Yeah, so just to quickly go through it, Texas at 1, Ohio State at 2, Tennessee at 3, Georgia at 4. I think Georgia and Tennessee flipped, but other than that, nothing changed there. Miami jumps up to 5, and then by default, Bama and Ole Miss move down 1 to 6 and 7. Oregon at 8, Penn State jumps up to 9. Louisville makes their first appearance at 10. Utah gets back into the mix at 11, and then Michigan sneaking in there at 12. Talk to me, guys. What was your thoughts and your rankings?
After Team 9, I felt like this got kind of hard to.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're looking at realistically about 6 or 7 teams that actually have a shot, which is pretty good.
Yeah, we can talk a little bit
while, but
yeah,
that back half of that 12. I mean, Michigan beat USC, but that was as ugly as a win as you can get.
I wanted to keep USC up there, but I can't put Michigan above USC.
Louisville had an ugly win. I mean, Utah's kind of grinding it out right now without rising. So, I mean, when I look at that after Team 9, I look at the odds going down significantly.
Yeah, I mean, this was a hard week. Like, just the first 6, 7 are locks, and then it's kind of just like, all of these teams probably are about the same. Like,
I thought about putting Iowa State up there.
I thought about putting James Madison at 12.
Why? No,
throw a wrench in there.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if you put. I was expecting Indiana in your poll. So
just wait. They only have 3 road games left. Just wait. There's a lot of Memorial Stadium going to be packed for the Hoosiers the rest of the season.
Yeah, sure.
Let's move on to some NFL, guys. So we can start landing this plane and start our descent before Noah has one more thing to talk about.
No, that was a little too much energy for the NFL. I'm gonna need you to bring it down a little bit.
I saw a couple of games actually. We also need to talk about we're gonna talk about the games tonight too.
Let's talk about the Lions first. Let's talk about the hometown team.
I don't know if the Lions are contenders or pretenders, if I'm going to be completely honest. I like their personnel, but I have one big problem. I didn't think he was good last year. I know he played good statistically, but if you actually watch him play the quarterback position and his throws and everything, he's not that good. Jared Goff. I'm not a Jared Goff guy. I've never been. I never liked him. I never been like Jared Goff. Like, I'm just not that type of dude. Yeah, I don't know. I think they're limited.
I kind of agree, but I also disagree.
Like, he's still a top half quarterback in the league, don't get me wrong, but he's not no top 10, not top 8, top 6, wherever you want.
I think he's top 10, but he ain't higher than 9. That's my thoughts though.
I'd take Sam Darnold over Jared Goff.
Oh, we're doing the quarterback ranking show.
I don't.
No, it's not. We'll save that for like the end of the season.
I think what we're seeing with the Lions this year, especially, is the NFL and across the league as well. We're very much hurting to not have a real preseason. Like, I don't think the Lions played a single starter in their 3 preseason games. So it's except for the corners.
So just not add 2 more regular season.
You want me to give you guys an easy breakdown of the Lions really quick?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Sam Laporta is not healthy, and I think that they're a running football team right now. And I honestly believe that they're missing Josh Reynolds right now. He made a lot of big catches for them last year, and I know they just brought Tim Patrick up from the practice squad, and he's kind of been out of football for a couple of years, but you can see, especially with Laporta down now, teams are going to be keying in on Monra and JMO a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that they actually have a third legitimate target without Laporta on the line.
I don't think Raymond's a good receiver. To be quite
No, I
honest.
think they want him to be a special teams gadget guy. And
yeah, but he plays receiver reps.
He's mainly a
They
return guy.
I
Yeah.
think Isaiah Williams could fit that Josh Reynolds role, but it's just a matter of opportunity for him because he was like that gadget guy at Illinois. Like he played some he was their version of Deebo Samuel at Illinois. So
look out for him. Oh, I just forgot his name. Never mind. Don't look out for him. Utah running back.
He
was actually mainly a safety at Utah. He was not. He didn't play running back.
They want him to be a running back here.
Who's going to pick up these targets? I mean, the NFL, these defenses are going to figure you out. Who's picking up these targets? Because Laporta, you're looking at least 3 games.
I think, honestly, it's just got to be in Dan Campbell and in God, I suck with names. OC.
Oh, Ben Johnson.
And Ben Johnson, we just got to trust him at this point. We got to trust that Ben Johnson can scheme guys open. We got to trust, I think it's got to be a big Swift out of the backfield type of couple games. And
or Gibbs.
Swift. No, I said Swift. Gibbs. So sorry. God, I suck today. I'm tired. It's got to be a big Gibbs out of the backfield type of couple games. Because he can. That's what he did a lot of it at Bama. He's done a little bit of it here.
He could also play some slot.
Right. They send him wide a lot. It's just that,
he could you could put Montgomery at running back and put Gibbs in the slot. That's kind of what I thought. And when people were overreacting to the draft pick at 12, I'm like, dude, Gibbs was arguably one of Bama's best receivers that year. There's a good chance he would play some slot, and I think he should. But
I mean, one more thing, we'll move on because I don't want to. We're kind of getting over here, and I know Andrew probably needs to go to bed.
We all do. It's late.
Yeah, but I think that Aiden Hutchinson has a legitimate shot to contend for that sack record if he continues at the pace that he's at.
He's on track winning Defensive Player of the Year.
He's gotten to the point now in his 3rd year where he's unstoppable. The guy's unreal.
He's just every move he makes at the defensive line, he would do a stupid spin move, super untimely. Everything was kind of out of sync. Dude, everything he does is just so in sync and so fluid. He's developed a lot. He was so good at Michigan in his senior year, and we're seeing that level of dominance now translate to the NFL.
That was honestly, you mentioned spin move and just his bag of tricks that he has now. That was my biggest drawback when I saw the Lions drafted him. I was like, well, the bull rush is real good, and he's got a pretty good spin move, and that works really good in the college.
Well, he's got a good rip too. He's gotten more athletic.
He does.
He's a beast.
Let's move on.
Adjusted really well.
Let's move to the Rams and the 49ers.
Shout out Jawan Jennings, my fantasy team. What a pickup, dude. 46 points. He was nuts.
Yeah. The 49ers, dude, are no Debo, no Kittle, and CMC once again, the injury bug. They better start getting some guys back quick because you can fall out of a playoff race in the NFL, and Purdy does not look the same. I mean, obviously, a lot of people wouldn't look the same when you lose those 3 guys, but
he didn't play bad though.
I got a question for you guys about this, about the Niners especially. Is Kyle Shanahan the problem for the Niners? Because under Shanahan, when they're missing Debo, CMC, or Kittle,
you're talking guys that are making a lot of freaking money on that team.
Yeah, but he's 48-50 when missing any of those 3 players.
Yeah,
is it Shanahan the problem? He's supposed to be this offensive savant, and you lose one player. Jennings went crazy, so it's obviously not. There's kind of a system, but is it just? Just Shanahan can't finish games,
bro? When you're talking about a Pro Bowl, All Pro type level players, and you're saying they're out, obviously you're gonna struggle. I get where you're coming from, and But I disagree. Like you're missing high level players. Like,
Is he gonna flat out tell you you're wrong again,
Yeah.
Andrew, and not let you finish the thought?
Yes, that's exactly what he did.
Remember that last show when he kept telling you, no, you're wrong, and he just wouldn't let you say what you
I
wanted
never
to
finished
say?
my Kenneth Walker thought, but
you're wrong. I'm sorry.
I didn't even get halfway through that idea, and he went, "Fuck you, no."
You're wrong.
You are wrong. Like they won without him, so clearly he's not the whole team. So therefore,
That's not even the point I was making, and you missed it entirely. But it's okay.
what you said is just what
I said he's that heartbeat of that team.
No, you're wrong.
But
dude.
you said like he was at Michigan State, and
What he was at Michigan State was the run that allowed Peyton Thorne to even look like a competent quarterback.
yeah, but
So then he goes into the NFL. He's better than Charbonnet. Am I wrong?
No, he is. I'm not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing that he's not a good running back.
My argument was he carries the same role. He's the 4 yards a carry that sets up DK.
Oh, here we go again.
No,
I don't even care anymore. Let's move on.
Kenneth Walker carried that Michigan State team.
All right.
I know he did.
Texas,
because that team stunk otherwise.
Texans, Vikings. Let's move on. Probably the most surprising team in the NFL right now, the Vikings. Sam Darnold under Kevin O'Connell, kind of revitalizing his career a little bit. I told you guys that Brian Flores was the real deal when it came to DC's. 2 weeks in a row shutting down good offenses, and they pretty much stifled the Texans. And they're doing it. They do it with a lot of guys, like not very big names. For instance, Josh Metellus is a starting safety for the Vikings. And it's crazy, man, to see what they're doing with Sam Darnold, and they're kind of looking like contenders in the NFC North.
I agree. I think the broadcasters had an actual really good point. The Vikings, they run a anti-Shanahan, anti-McVay defensive scheme, and the Texans OC is a disciple from the Shanahan tree.
Bobby Slowick.
So the Vikings are set up to shut down some of the most prolific offenses in the NFL. So it's just, you're going to see a lot of these scores against those types of teams. I wasn't expecting 7 points from the Texans, but I think you capped this game incredibly well, JP, and that it showed.
Yeah.
What I will say is I didn't expect Aaron Jones to actually be like pretty good.
I called it.
Yeah.
No, you did it. That was a really good take by you. But no, like legitimately, like Aaron Jones has actually been playing pretty good, and Vikings have been able to run the football, which has helped. I don't think Sam Darnold in his career, when he's been a starter, has had a good supporting run cast, and now like that he has and the weapons are good. I know Addison was out in this game, but I mean, I obviously have Justin Jefferson. Shout out Jalen Naylor. Should have had 2 touchdowns, but that's besides the point.
Yeah.
Aaron Jones, dude, when he's healthy, he's been a top 10 back in the league.
Yeah, no,
I problem staying healthy.
Well, it wasn't even that. It's just I thought he was gonna have a little bit of regression, especially being out of the Green Bay system. But
Aaron Jones, when he's healthy, he's running so fast his hairline can't catch up.
Dude, he has some big dreads too.
Yeah, but his hairline's dying.
It's okay.
That's why he wears the headband. It's like back here.
Justin's about to get there pretty soon, so
let's I'm
damn.
Sorry, Dad.
A bad spray. Hey, that's your genetics, Noah. Don't be talking shit.
I know, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just jealous I could never grow an afro.
That's his friend's mom.
Maybe you're not right.
Whoever she was.
Yeah.
My mom actually does have very curly.
Let's move on to the Cleveland New York Giants game. This game is more relevant for the fact that Cleveland dropped a game to I believe one of the top 3 worst teams in the NFL. Once again, we get to light up that punching bag that is Deshaun Watson, who is collecting all that free money out there in Cleveland. And once again, they did not win. Kevin Stefanski, a guy who got the head coach of the year last year. I think D'Amico Ryans was robbed. I think Dan Campbell was robbed, and maybe another coach. But yeah, so Cleveland 1-2, and you can't lose to the Giants, dude. I'm sorry. Like I know
Hey,
that they're
I think
Daniel
the Browns-
Jones, dude. Talk
I think the
about
Browns
having a
might-
solid game.
I think the
Well,
Browns
Malik
might also
Neighbors.
be one of those worst 3 teams in the NFL.
yeah, and Malik Neighbors, dude, he's playing like a
he's
guy
good.
that can be a top 10 receiver. Like I
He's
think
gonna
he's
hate it in
really
New
that
York.
good.
he's the modern day fit receiver, like very fast, able to have really good route running, able to be good in open space. Like there's a lot of reasons to like him. And coming into the league, he could be a deep threat too if he needs to fill that role.
I think we're gonna get a lot of. This is a big win for the Giants, but on that Malik Neighbors topic, we might a lot of the talking points I feel like going forward though are gonna be the goddamn Kirks from Justin Jefferson are just gonna be Malik Neighbors yelling at Daniel Jones.
Well, it's okay because they're gonna be a bad team, and they're gonna get Shadur Sanders, and he's gonna be like, "God damn it, Shadur!" No, I don't know.
Shadur, I think Shadur's gonna be a stud in the NFL.
Yeah, he willed
That kid's
Colorado
tough.
back. Yeah, no, he's
He's
actually
tough. He makes great passes. His O-line sucks.
and he's really good marketing.
Except the Giants suck too on offense. The Giants O-line sucks too. So maybe they're not ready for an actual quarterback.
I don't know.
Let's
What can I say? One thing.
yeah. Go
Another
ahead.
one thing.
How so? P Diddy is obviously more.
That is not how you start a sentence.
He's obviously like more famous than Deshaun Watson, and Deshaun Watson, like you could argue who's done worse.
I think that's an easy open close argument.
Very easy answer.
But like, how
The
does
guy's got a
Deshaun-
dildo factory in his mansion. I mean, come on.
The closer argument's Michael Jackson.
But there is a significant amount of women that Deshaun Watson's touched, and I know there's more stuff that surfaced out there. How has this guy still got an NFL contract? But like, if Deshaun Watson though is open a FanDuel account and bet on games, he would get suspended. Like I don't understand. I don't understand.
Until proven guilty in the NFL, the Players Association won't let the NFL take action.
But it's really dumb.
It is.
And I'll say,
100%
I'll say something off air. I'm not going to say it.
Do you think the NFL has moral compass? I don't think so.
No.
It's about putting butts in the seats, dollars in the bank.
Does he really put butts in the seats though?
I mean, yeah.
Apparently
Dude,
35.
do you know about Cleveland fans or no?
Well, there's
Do you know about NFL fans or no?
They're kind of
Dude, it's a dog pound, bro. Like they had one of the most dedicated fan bases through being like literally like one of the worst franchises in the NFL, right along with the Lions.
Cleveland's like the Lions. They fill the stadium no matter what.
I mean,
well, they're heading back down there.
You're acting like, are they putting butts? Dude, they were putting butts in the seats when Tim Couch was the quarterback. I know you don't know who that is, but for the older listeners, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Let's move into the last game we want to talk about, which kind of segues us into the games from tonight before we close this beast up. The Ravens and Cowboys, desperation game for both teams.
Are the Cowboys bad? Is that what we? I need to look.
Yeah.
The Cowboys. I mean, they
I'll
might
put
be
it on
one
the
of the worst run defenses in the league this year. One of, not the worst, but
but didn't we see this coming with Dallas in the offseason? I mean, their biggest move was signing Zeke Elliott to a contract. Like they waited to get CD's contract done. Dak Prescott, who's been a great regular season quarterback, obviously gets nothing done in the postseason. This is Mike McCarthy's last year on his deal. I mean, he's almost as good as done, especially if they don't.
I mean, he was not that good in Green Bay either.
I mean, but he had Aaron Rodgers. I mean, Aaron Rodgers at that time and point was making anybody look good. I mean, he's kind of making Robert Saleh look good right now, to be honest with you. But
I mean, I like Robert Saleh. He's a pretty good DC and a defensive mind. But
hold on, no, you roll your eyes like he's not playing. Like Aaron Rodgers isn't. Like,
no, I'm completely understanding what you're saying.
Okay,
Just
I thought you rolled your eyes. I was
No,
about to
I'm
be
more
like, hold on a minute.
tired and just my eyes look off. I just stare.
He's
at
annoyed at us because he disagrees.
No,
Let's wait it
I
out. Press it down.
I got a pitch for you guys on the Cowboys really quick.
Okay.
They going into halfway through the season. Are the Cowboys 1-8?
let me look at their
Because I got it for you. Next week they play the Giants. Then they got the Steelers, Lions, Niners, Falcons, and Eagles. That is Steelers, Lions, Niners, Falcons, and Eagles all run the ball better than teams they played so far, except for probably the Ravens. And the Ravens smash mouth their way through that Cowboys defense.
Yeah, I don't think that this Cowboys defense is. Dude, they lost Dan Quinn, who's now obviously with Washington. That defense has not looked the same. Like they were a legit top 5 defense last year under Dan Quinn, and they're in some trouble. Dude.
They look all over the place.
I think it's just a testament into all levels of football that scheme sometimes matters more than talent, because it's not like this Cowboys defense doesn't have talent on it. It does. But if you can't put the right guys in the right position, it doesn't matter.
It's still got Micah Parsons on it. One of the best defensive players.
Right. No, I mean, like, there's a reason why there's such a significant drop off.
Right.
So
what do you guys think on that 1-8 potential?
No, I don't see that.
You don't see them.
I think they'll beat the Giants.
That's what I mean. The one win is the Giants.
I mean, like they could be if the Niners aren't healthy. Maybe
that's true.
Falcons, I mean, you don't know what team you're getting from the Falcons.
They have a chance to beat everybody on that schedule. For being,
I mean, that's just how the NFL works. Like we could be talking about this segment and look like complete idiots in like week 10. So. Just how it rolls sometimes.
I do think I want to plant my flag in Cowboys 1-8. We'll come back week 9 to see how I did.
I'll remember.
I want to plant my flag in that because I feel pretty good about it.
I got a lot of graphics to make.
So we're kind of all feeling like Mike McCarthy's job probably on the hot seat. So do you guys? Is there any other coaches that you guys can think of who are
not in the NFL, but I do have some college.
Oh, I got Nick Sirianni for you.
We moved on.
Nick Sirianni.
Sirianni.
And I think if the Giants can't turn it around, that brain trust up in New York might get fired too. I'm forgetting the names.
Oh, you're talking about Brian Daboll.
Yeah, Daboll and the OC. I could see them getting ditched too if they can't figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, if Daboll goes, the whole staff's going. But I think the easy layup here is Doug Peterson.
Yeah, I was just going to say Jacksonville.
They got absolutely blasted tonight, 47-10, and I guess that kind of segues us into tonight's games. Buffalo looks good, dude.
It's great.
Like the last 2 weeks, like I know that Tua went out, but long before Tua went out, that game was well in hand.
Yeah, that game was over.
Like they dominated Miami. Josh Allen is honestly an MVP candidate, like right now. Like
he might. I won't say it yet, but there's a good chance he might be.
I don't see. There's no quarterback in the NFL right now that's playing at a higher level through 3 weeks than Josh Allen.
Not a one.
I'm sorry. Like, you know, Pat Mahomes, for all the greatness, like he's not playing at Josh Allen's level. Burrow's not playing at Josh Allen's level. Like Trevor Lawrence looked kind of bad tonight. Yeah, like
bad.
And dude, he's a $55 million quarterback. Like,
yeah, they might.
He was the worst of the 4 quarterbacks playing tonight, by far.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And there's a rookie that played tonight.
And he looked the best. I'm gonna again plant.
No, he did not look the best out of all 4 quarterbacks.
He had a 91% completion percentage.
But Josh Allen played.
Josh Allen kind of was the guy tonight. Andrew, you planted your flag with Jaden Daniels in the preseason
episode.
In the preseason, during the live show that we'll probably never get footage for at this point.
We should get it soon. I'm gonna get on Josh's ass about that
during the live show, and I kind of clowned you on that, dude. So I mean,
I didn't agree. I don't know.
You clowned me on it too, Noah.
Yeah, he was. He is not the same player. He's developed a lot over this offseason.
And not only like just
more
like
power to him. More
scrambling and like making plays with his legs. Like, he looked really good from the
Dude,
pocket
he made
tonight.
some throws where I'm just like, I never expected this in the NFL.
No, I mean, even the broadcast team was saying this is a different passer in Jaden Daniels.
Dude, if you would have said to me 2 years ago Jaden Daniels would be a good NFL quarterback, I would have told you you're crazy. Like, he's improved a lot, and you know what? I just accept my loss there and be happy for him.
I think he's also halfway revived Terry McLaurin's career.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, dude. Like, Terry McLaurin looks happy right now. Like,
I was gonna say the first time Scary Terry smiled in
dude,
like
did you see
2
the graphic
years
that they pulled up of all the quarterbacks that have thrown passes to Terry McLaurin? It was like 12 of them.
I still kind of
rows.
wish that Taylor Heineke was their quarterback. I thought it was going to be something.
He was fun.
I thought he wasn't good, but he was fun.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's all we got for tonight. I think we pretty much hit on everything. And then Noah hit on 1 more. So I think we covered it all.
I just have a lot to say, man. That's what happens when you spend your Saturday.
And we appreciate that.
He's got no life. We got.
That's actually not true. I don't know how much college football I'm watching this weekend.
Yeah, you're gonna go be a delinquent at Michigan State.
No, that's next weekend. Not this weekend.
But yeah, guys. Before
I got a hockey game to call on Saturday.
Before we get out of here, you guys got anything else you want to say?
Yeah, there's a lot of actually this weekend was surprisingly mid for amount of football games that I was excited for. I kind of got let down. But I'm excited for this weekend. There's a couple really good matchups, specifically Alabama Georgia's this weekend. So keep looking forward to our preview episode coming up this week. I'm excited for
I know a game
guys
that
to know more than I do, of course, because they always do.
It's not always
my
true.
ADHD brain doesn't let me remember names, and I just feel like a dumbass.
I mean, I don't always say names. I assort by personnel groups like DBs, linebackers, because I think that matters. Honestly, I think how you play collectively matters more than one.
And Andrew's going to keep dropping that fire for everybody on the socials.
Yeah, once again, guys, and if you've made it this far in, make sure to follow us on our socials on Instagram and TikTok and Twitter. So
yes,
at 4th and Goal Pod for you guys that are on audio.
And that's it for me, fellas.
One thing I will say, I know
there it is.
Jesus,
all right, we need a one
more.
Justin, this is more of a note for you. We have to talk about Washington State versus Boise State on Thursday.
Okay,
dude, that
probably could have said that off air, but okay, we'll roll with that.
No, I just this is more for people like, dude. Both these teams are pretty good.
All right. Well, it sounds good. Well, look forward to seeing everybody for the preview show here on Thursday. Look for clips and everything on social media, and everybody have a good day.
See ya.
Deuces.